through here last night. I'll tell you, it was pretty wild. Lots of high wind, lots of rain, and thankfully it didn't get real cold. Uh, but I just wanted to stop in and say good morning and see if I could figure out, a little more how to handle this life thing. Still learning it, and so far it's been a lot of fun. But today I wanted to talk about uh, the Dark Ages. I know, crazy topic for morning, but it's something to give our brains a little something off topic to think about, uh, with all the political stuff going on and trying to find us another ridiculous president, which from what I've seen, hmm, it's going to be more of the same old, folks. Even though they got some new faces in the arena, it's going to be the same crap. And the reason I say that is because that was a contributing factor to what we call the Dark Ages. Uh, in fact, it was main facts. That and climate change, the two things we're dealing with in today's world. Climate change is a fact of life. And I know people love to debate whether you can stop climate change and all that. But in reality, if you stop climate change from happening, you kill the planet because you're not allowing it to do its natural thing. And I do agree that we are contributors to how it's going. I still don't see us as major contributors because I know uh, Earth's natural processes are vicious, and the Dark Ages were proof of that. Now, our planet is heating up, but it's right on time. It's not doing it unusual. I know politicians want you to believe that, and people who want you to support their agenda, give them money, want you to believe that. But if you look back at the geological record, no, Earth's right on par for where it should be. Our influence, even though it's minor, is a contributing factor. But at the same time, so is every other animal on the planet contributing to global warming just by dying, living and using whatever resources even insects need to survive. So we're kind of offbeat on the part where, it's all our fault. No. Actually, if you count all of the mammals and their feces, just that, their poop and all the mammals, excluding us, you'll find they have a bigger impact on the planet than we do. Now, we're having a major impact on the surface, and we've created a lot of things that are not natural to Earth's environment or creation, and it is going to change the planet as they decay from plastics, metals, concretes, all of that decays over time. We know it does. We use these things, and oh, my cigarette is burning so funny. But in the Dark Ages, it was partially the political climate, the greed. Well, we deserve food, while our people who harvest our food, grow our food, starve. That was the mentality of the Dark Ages. not much different than today. Yeah, I usually don't get into a lot of politics or any of that, but this one really bothers me. It's not right. It's just not right. Um, uh, no, I don't want to start a poll. I'm trying to figure out what's down here. Okay, that's okay. So none of that lets me invite you. Anyway, I'm gonna enjoy some coffee and a cigarette. I was up very late last night. I went to bed as the storms were moving in, and they woke me up sometime after midnight because when you hear trees cracking and brushing against each other, and you hear the howl of the wind and thunder and lightning, I stayed up till after 3. I finally fell back asleep when the thunder calmed down. It wasn't so loud because it was shaking the whole house, which is not uncommon here. I've had it happen during the day when we have storms come through. But I'm grateful for the weather. Even though it disrupted me, we really, really needed the rain. Our forest is very fragile, you know. So we try not to mess too much with its ecosystem. Uh, but we have to be also protective of our dwellings and our animals' dwellings. Now, I don't have farm animals. When I'm talking about animals, I have 3 cats that I inherited and a dog that I inherited, and then my husband was given a puppy as a tip. And because he's such a warm-hearted person, he couldn't refuse that cute little face. And now he's grown into a massive dog, but he is gorgeous. He is my Jackie boy. I love that dog so much. Uh, I, my brother keeps asking me if I could do podcasts so that he could listen in on my conversations or my topics. And I still haven't quite figured that out. I do know you can use some of your older material on your podcast. I watch Y-Files. Huge fan Y-Files. I watch every broadcast you put up. I am a huge fan. I'm sorry I don't have more money where I could be a contributor, but I would hope someday to aspire to be as good of a mediator, a creator. And last night, listening to his live podcast, I got to see a little more in depth of how he comes up with all his material. And he's got a whole crew working for him. I'm just me. I don't have the fancy microphones and all that. I'm just here. And these are the things I talk about because these are the things that affect me or, rattle around in my head. Sometimes it's like a bowling alley and they're bing, 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 bing. Other days it's so quiet. You think there's a predator nearby. But that's not most days. Most days, I don't know about y'all, but my brain goes back into the dark ages and goes, what the heck? Yes, I'm still in my robe. The house is cold. We've got a cold front moving in. And my robe is, well, it was my mama's robe, and then it was my sister Patty's robe. So isn't it funny how an item of clothing can hold so much relevance to us? I have a big bulky sweater, and I have to remind myself sometimes because I'll wear it for days when the weather's bad. And it's a big brown sweater. My mother hated it. She thought it was the ugliest thing, but I love it as much as my sister Patty did. It was her sweater, and when I put it on, I kind of feel like I'm wrapping myself in her love and her warmth and her beauty. I miss her so much. The last few years she was alive, she pretty much rejected everybody. She, and I don't blame her. The people she rejected, they hurt her. They were emotionally cruel. They thought emotional battery was acceptable and okay, and it's not. And I watched that kind of thing take its toll on her health and take its toll completely to the end. She was in the dark ages, most definitely, because she couldn't find light in herself or anywhere. But it's there. She just didn't know how to find it. I rely on my light. It's what gets me through. I know I am a mess, guys. It's really bothering me because usually by now I've at least, done something a little more with my hair and stuff like that. But I'm still in my morning routine because I slept late. Uh, my mother left me some skin treatment stuff that she used. And at 78 years old, she looked like she was maybe in her 50s, early 50s at that. Uh, she kept that, what you call youthful beauty, until she passed. And no Botox or any of that. She just had a skin regimen like most women. And I am scatterbrained today. You can tell I didn't sleep good. Okay, I gotta tell you guys. Now, those of you who know me know I have a bad heart. And even happiness can trigger severe angina. So my heart stops. It just, I don't want to beat no more. So what I've been using in the morning when I wake up is this. And I've been using it probably 3 years now. I use one in the morning, and sometimes, depending on the day, how much I've had to do and how wore out I feel, I may drink a second one during the day after I eat. Now, some would say I'm severely diabetic. Yeah, I am. I know I shook my head no, because I can still control some of my diabetes. And these have no sugar. They give me a hell of a lot more go than my cup of coffee. Even though I love my coffee, this is cigarettes, coffee, yeah, they're my fatal flaws. And I say fatal because they're probably going to be what takes me out. But if God's looking out for me, which I think He is because I'm still here, which is amazing to me, and I know know doctors that would go, what the hell? How are you still alive? I've had doctors actually say that to me. But in the Dark Ages, back to our topic, back then they had no medical insurance or anything like that. But governments, rulers, kings, queens, and the wealthy did have doctor attendants, and most of them, believe it or not, were not paid a dime. It was considered their duty to take care of the rich and wealthy so they could stay rich and wealthy. And that is today. I have a character I call Queen Satan. And I created her for multiple reasons. First of all, she was my way to tap in to my dark side, bring it out without hurting anybody. The second reason is because people don't listen to God anymore. And everybody, I see so many posts that are very dark, and I mean beyond my kind of dark. And I'm pretty open-minded. I see skulls and images of the Reaper, and I think they're beautiful in most cases. Some are just gory, and I don't like gore. I don't like gore at all. I mean, I get a little cut on my finger, and I bleed like a stuck pig. So when I'm seeing gore, it's like, no interest. But in the Dark Ages, when people were suffering unnecessarily to provide excessive everything to our leaders that had no value of us. And in America, we are in the Dark Ages. Don't fool yourself because the sun comes up every day. We're in the Dark Ages. We are creating a new technology. And during the Dark Ages, there was more technology created than ever. And it was because people were looking for new ways to exist. Because, our leaders, they were pitiful. They were pitiful. And if I were going to wish karma on anyone, it would be them. Especially them old MFers up there trying to live as if they are above all other life forms on the planet. This arrogance, it is appalling. They have no conscience, because they make empty promises. Oh, I'll make it affordable for you to get health care. Yeah, how? You are not going to beat down those big companies that have had the government in their pocket since the Dark Ages. Because when you look back at our leaders' DNA, their bloodlines, they're still the same bloodlines. And it's the same crap coming with that bloodline that we've been revolutionizing against, rebelling against for thousands of years. I have my cat. She is over here trying to demand that I give her some food. See, this is Lady Pearl. And she is not like the camera. I can't tell if I got her. But there she is. Yeah, I know she's looking. Okay. So, anyway, that's her. And she's already had her breakfast. I can't believe for as much as she eats, she weighs so little. But anyway, okay, I gotta get my hair back down because my face is dry and all my lotion is mixed in. Oh, I love Suave. I've tried other shampoos. Pantene, it makes my hair weighed down, no no volume. So I don't know where they're coming up with their ads. At least not for my type hair. And even when I was younger, before my hair went all gray, it was the same thing. And I couldn't use their products. I tried. Used to love Paul Mitchell, and I found some at Walmart, and I thought, well, I'll try it again, and give my Suave a break, because I can change up my Suave pretty easy. But what I discovered is crap. Just like a lot of like what I'm using to get rid of wrinkles. Now, I have a lifetime worth of wrinkles, and I have never tried to get rid of them or hide them. Uh, I decided to try it because I'm in the public eye more. And, when you're in the public eye, you would like to look presentable, decent. And so that's why I started trying it. And I've been using it now today was my 6th day. And I go back and I review the pictures I take each day to see the difference. Now, the lift in my eyelids definitely a difference. Lines, they're still pretty prominent. But, it's to me, it doesn't appear to be making a difference other than a little bit of lifting of my upper eyelids. But a lot of that can be achieved through gentle massage, gentle lifting. And I think it's today I'm supposed to be getting in is a light one for your skin. It's supposed to help reduce these, of course these, that. But I don't have thousands of dollars a year to spend on that kind of stuff. So when I do find something that is already available to me, well, of course I try it. And I do see some difference, so I'm not going to say it don't work. But uh, that's the difference between way back then in the dark ages and now, is that we have a better means of communication. So I'm really hoping that with our better means of communication, we can avoid some of the setbacks that we had during those times. Uh, when you can't grow enough food and you've got these rich people living in lavish homes and gorgeous clothing and all this finery, you're looking at them going, what makes them a better human than me? That I don't deserve these things. Well, America was going through a dark age when it rebelled against King George. But more freedoms came of it, but then now we're right back under England's thumb as usual. And I'm not proud of that. To see our ancestors went through so much to give us freedom, and we just, who cares? It's just freedom. What's it matter? We're not going to get to do any better than we did before. Why? Because the wealthy won't allow it. So if God is kind and decides this time for a change, maybe those are the people he'll go after instead of us. Because really, when you look at history, if God is used as an example, we're screwed while the rich are just fine. So I don't know how to take that. But I do know this much. Our climate is always changing. And it's right on par where it should be. And we are going to experience, maybe not in my lifetime, but in my children's lifetime, a major eruption or an impact, sea level rise because of solar storms. There are so many potential dangers, and we are idiots. And we refuse to study our actual history because so much of it has been falsified, manipulated, whatever. So we have no interest in our past, yet it's our lifeline to our future. And I know people are all about the here and now, but there's going to come a time when your here and now is going to shorten. And you're not going to have the chance, the opportunity to change anything. And I don't know if I can change anything. I mean, I'm just an old woman. What am I going to change? I couldn't change my drug-addicted, homeless daughter into a non-addicted, secure human being. And I'm sure I contributed to that breaking of her spirit, that it would take her down so far. But, you know, I pray for my daughter every day, and every day she's alive. At least I know of. Her and I don't talk that much. She asks me for money several times a week. If I've got it, I give it. If I don't, I can't. And I tell her I'm sorry, I wish I could. She never asks for much. She's a good girl. She doesn't know it because she's just so caught up in her own dark ages. And we all have them, but living in that darkness killed my sister. My little sister. Not my older sister. I'm the oldest of all the girls. And that darkness killed 2 of my sisters, not 1. And I'm going to try and show them that even though I have my darkness, that my light can be stronger than my darkness. Wow, my eyes are really dark today. They're actually showing up quite a bit. Wow. My sisters, except, well, my half-sister, her and I actually probably look more alike than I resemble my sister Patricia or my sister Diana. To me, her and I took a lot of my father's DNA. We look a lot more like him. We're built like Grandma Reader, our father's mother, but my sister was very sick. She had spent a lot of her young life on methamphetamines, and, well, she's the baby. She was the youngest of all the kids. There was 7 of us. One died at 3 months, 4 months old, and the rest of us survived. But barely. As I have one sister left alive, and she will not have anything to do with me because we had a huge fight. And she doesn't consider the things she said as hurtful, cruel, but she considers the things I said, and I did go overboard. There's no doubt about that. But when I'm hurting and you attack me, I come back as an attack that you cannot defend against. And that was my own doing. Can't blame her for that. I'm the one who confronted her. But I confronted her because her behavior had been going on for months. Months. And she, I don't know. I honestly don't know what happened between us. I know I miss her. I miss her laugh. I miss her smile. And I missed her brightness and cheeriness that she had. And even though I'm hurt, I'm still a bit angry. I love her more than I'm hurt, and I love her more than I'm angry. But, her and I are different people. Because when we had that fight, she did the cruelest thing to her niece and nephew. I couldn't conceive of doing it to her children because I'm mad at her. Why the hell would I cut them out of my life because of her? I mean, her children are not very prominent in my life. I'd be lying if I said they were. We have very little communication. And the only time I ever had communication really with her kids was for them to ask me for money. That's it. I had no use in their eyes other than that. And a lot of time I didn't have money to give them. And so, they're not interested in me because I'm their aunt. They're interested in me only when they need help. And those are the kind of people I like to keep at a distance anyway. I learned my lesson over the last few years about that. I never had anything to help anybody with other than opening my home to them, offering them meals or shelter. I had no money. And the little bit of money I got from my mother, it's all gone. And most of it went to moving from Texas to Arkansas, because moving 30 years worth of stuff, not easy and very expensive to do, especially when you don't just, go rent a big semi-truck to do it all. My husband and I, we did it all while I was supporting my little sister. And in her eyes, I guess she thought I owed that to her. I don't know why she believes I owed that to her. I really don't. I took care of her because I thought it was my responsibility. And she did take care of our home. And I say our home when I wasn't here. You know, she cleaned up after herself because that was the only person she had to take care of when I wasn't here. And she didn't take care of me when I was here. She did not. She did not cater to me. And when we were running low on things, and she'd let me know, I'd tell her, go buy it, go get it. I gave her a car, and I paid for her insurance, and I paid for her to get a license, and it was well worth it, because it'd probably been more than, I don't know, 10 years since she had actually done any real driving. But when she needed anything, all she had to do was tell me, and I gave it to her if I could. And at that time I could. So I gave her as much as I could. But it wasn't enough. Not even to earn her respect. Because the last thing she said to me was, well, I took care of your house. No, you cleaned up after yourself. I allowed you to stay here rent-free. No jobs. No contribution from you. And when I was home, you could be very difficult because you were living off in a fantasy world and I couldn't. You wanted to see yourself being catered to and taken care of like that by someone for the rest of your life without having to be a contributor to helping in giving you those things. That hurts. That hurts. I was going through death after death after death. And all she could think about was what she wanted, or what she didn't have, or that she was giving enough. I enjoyed working with my sister when I was here. So for me, this is kind of my dark ages. Because, yeah, I lived a rough life, but I didn't live in the dark. Reality was my experience in this life, not fantasy. So getting to play with all this AI fantasy stuff is awesome to me. I can't go climb mountains or do any of the things I used to do when I was younger. But I still have fantasy now accessible to me that I didn't have before. And so, yeah, I'm coming in and out of the dark ages myself. All right, guys, I'm going to end this broadcast. It's almost 40 minutes, and I've been talking to myself, and I'm really tired from last night's storms and not getting much sleep. So, I love y'all. Don't forget, like, share, comment, follow, and subscribe. And I do apologize for the scatterbrainness this morning. Is what it is. All right, y'all. Love y'all, and I'll talk to you later. Yeah, I guess.